So in the last Dhamma talk, we were discussing about sampajanya, this quality of clear comprehension that must accompany, according to the Buddha's instruction, it must accompany every moment of noting. Okay, so every single moment when you note an object, that noting mind must be accompanied by this quality of clear comprehension, sampajanya. Yeah, so as we mentioned, this sampajanya, it is synonymous with panya, or wisdom. Okay, so yeah. So as we explained also, this sampajanya, this word sampajanya, is derived from the root word nya. Nya meaning knowing, okay, or to know. Okay? So basically, sampajanya apanya is knowing. It is a mode of knowing. Wisdom apanya is simply a mode of knowing. Okay? You simply know. Okay? Knowing means without thinking, without analyzing, without pondering, and certainly without any imagination. Okay? You're supposed to see things as they are. Okay? And that's wisdom. Okay? So it's a mode of knowing. Okay? Yeah. Yeah? So there's no, and without any, without involving any intellectual exercise, thoughts, pondering, thinking, and so on. Okay? Yeah. But wisdom is not knowing in an ordinary manner, in a superficial manner. Okay? It's not knowing things superficially on the surface. So, as denoted by the intensifier suffix pa, so you to the root na, to the root word nya, knowing, and you add the intensifier suffix pa. And this suffix pa, it denotes a deep, penetrative kind of knowing. It intensifies, modifies the meaning of nya, knowing. Right? So, by intensifying it. So, it's not an ordinary mode of knowing. It's a deep, penetrative mode of knowing. Okay? Is knowing things distinctly, clearly, precisely, exactly as they are. Okay? So this is the meaning of wisdom or panya. Okay? So to panya, then you add another prefix, sam. So you get sampanya. Okay? And then through further grammatical transformation, you get sampajanya. Okay, so and this prefix sam, it further modifies the meaning. Okay, so basically it's knowing deeply, knowing penetratively, clearly, distinctly, and so on. Okay, but you add another prefix sam, then it modifies the meaning further. So as we discussed in reference to the sub-commentary, so this prefix sam can be understood in three different ways. Okay, so first is sammapajananto. Okay, so knowing correctly. Okay, knowing correctly, exactly, precisely. Yeah? So how do you know correctly? So you know correctly, precisely, exactly, by noting in such a way, making effort to note in such a way, so that the knowing, the noting is so precise, that the noting mind is able to distinguish clearly each individual mental and physical nature that is present within our experience. Okay? So without mixing them up, without mixing all these different mental physical nature together. So every single experience that we note, whether seeing or hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, knowing, thinking, feeling, and so on. Okay? All these experiences, they actually compose of various physical or mental nature, okay? Various nama, rupa, dhamma. Okay? But when we do not practice vipassana meditation, we do not exert the mind to note precisely. Usually all these various nama, rupa, dhamma, they are all mixed together, all these various nature. So, like for example, when you rising, falling, let's say rising, so there's a stiffness, a tightness, a tension there. There is the feeling connected with that movement. There's a mental contact. There's a knowing. So there are all these various mental, physical nature present. Okay? Usually when we do not practice vipassana meditation, we don't see so clearly. They are all mixed together in one whole salad bowl. And then we identify, usually we identify this whole thing. This is my abdomen. Or I know my abdomen rising. Yeah? So you identify. Okay? So you kind of overlay a concept of a person uh, onto this whole experience. A concept of an abdomen and a person knowing the abdomen rising. Okay? So, yeah. So it all become confused, all mixed up together in a confused bunch. So you don't see things as they really are. Okay? And so when you practice vipassana meditation, through the method of noting precisely, clearly, every single moment, body in the body, feeling in the feeling, and so on. So you can able to, when the mind has been sufficiently developed, so that's clear knowledge develop, and then sharp enough, then you're able to distinguish clearly each and every mental and physical nature that are present in the experience. You can tell them apart. Okay? So they are not mixed together. So actually they are mixed together. It's just that because of the clear knowledge, and then clear knowledge is able to pick them apart one by one. Okay, then you see clearly. There's just dhammas in every single experience of rising and falling. They are just dhammas, just nature, mental, physical nature. There's no person, no being, no self, no soul. Just dhammas, just nature, mental, physical nature. So such precise, clear knowing, distinguishing clearly all these various mental, physical nature. This is called samma vajananto, knowing correctly. Okay? So this is clear comprehension. Okay? Yeah. So usually you don't practice vipassana, you don't have this clear comprehension. So all mixed together. There's a person, a being is present. So you overlay a layer of concept, which is not real, on top of what is real, and you take that concept as something real. You think that I really exist, my abdomen really exists. So that's called unclear comprehension. Okay, asampajanya. Okay, so when you develop clear knowledge, then you have clear comprehension. Then you can see clearly. Okay, that's just Dhamma, it's just mental physical nature. Mm. Yeah. Then oh, another meaning of the prefix sam is samantato vajananto, knowing clearly all around. So meaning, and this means that you not only discern clearly all these various mental physical nature, but you also discern them in all their various aspects, various manner of occurrence. So, so for example, when you're not rising, falling, you can see clearly. For example, there's physical nature of tightness. There's tightness, 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 tightness. You know, so it's one tightness after another, after another. Okay, when your mind is clear enough, you can see the manner of arising and disappearing. Each tightness, it arises, it disappears. Okay, and then another tightness arises, disappear. Another tightness arises, disappear. It's a manner of occurrence. Okay, the tightness itself is called sabhava lakkhana. Okay, the specific characteristic of the wind element. So so sometimes you can even see the mental nature as tightness, the knowing of the tightness. This knowing is also sabhava lakkhana. It's the specific, unique characteristic of the consciousness, citta. Okay? So this is all sabhava lakkhana. And then you see this sabhava lakkhana, this mental physical nature, the manner arising, disappearing, the tightness arising, disappearing, knowing arising, disappearing, moment by moment. It is called sankhata lakkhana, arising and disappearing. Conditioned nature. All things that are conditioned, they arise and disappear due to conditions. So when the suitable conditions are present, they arise. The condition disappear, they also disappear. That's the nature of all things that are conditioned. Five aggregates, they are all conditioned, so they all arises, disappear. Okay, so then from there also you discern the nature of samanya lakkhana. By continuously noting the nature arising, disappearing, you also discern their nature, how they are impermanent, how they are suffering, how they are non-self. Okay? So knowing in all this aspect, knowing all this mental, physical nature, in all these various aspect, all these various manner of occurrence, this is called samantato pajananto. Okay? Knowing clearly all around. So this also is a kind of clear comprehension. Okay? And then last one is sammam pajananto, knowing clearly by oneself. So this means this is a way of the commentator to slip in the instruction that no one can help you to develop this clear comprehension. You yourself must develop it yourself. Okay? Sammam means by oneself, knowing by oneself. So every yogi must make a personal effort in order to develop this clear comprehension. And you have to make effort to develop it continuously, so that the insight that is developed is able to reach deeper and deeper, becomes clearer and clearer, more and more mature, is able to reach higher and higher distinction in knowledge, until you arrive at highest knowledge, Maggaphala Jnana. Okay? Yeah. So basically, sampajanya, clear comprehension, it simply means this clear insight into the nature of mental physical phenomena as they arise within our experience. Okay? So, so this quality of clear comprehension, okay, must accompany, according to the Buddha's instruction, Satipatthana instruction, it must be accompanying every single moment of noting mind. Every time you note, this quality of clear comprehension must be present. Yeah. So as we mentioned, so this quality of clear comprehension is very important part of vipassana meditation. Because vipassana meditation, as the Buddha described it in the Satipatthana Sutta, it means sati sampajanya, okay? Mindfulness together with clear comprehension. Okay, so vipassana meditation, basically it is sati sampajanya, mindfulness together with clear comprehension. Okay, so yeah. So when you practice, there must be these two qualities together. So mindfulness alone, it only establishes the mind in samadhi, concentration. Okay, so which is the samatha aspect of the practice. Okay, this of course is not enough. This alone is not enough. Okay, so so. Because in vipassana meditation, there's these two aspects, both samatha and vipassana must be present. Okay, so mindfulness represents the samatha aspect. It establishes the mind firmly on the object. In this way, it helps to establish the mind in focus, attention. So this is the samatha aspect of it. Okay. So, but these two alone, this mindfulness and concentration, sati samadhi, they must be well directed. Okay, once they are established, they must be well directed in order to explore into the nature of the mental physical phenomena. Okay, and sabbhava lakkhana, sankata lakkhana, samanya lakkhana. So they must be directed to explore into this various nature of the mental physical phenomena. Okay? Only through such exploration will there be sampajanya, this clear comprehension about the nature of the nama rupa. Only then will there be vipassana, insight. Okay? So this is the sampajanya, this is the vipassana aspect of the practice. Okay? So there are these two aspects of the practice, both samatha and the vipassana aspect of the practice. Both must be present. Okay? So the samatha aspect, the mindfulness, the concentration, the effort, so it holds the mind steady on the object. Okay? It establishes the mind on the object, hold it steady there. Focus attention on it, so that the mind is not distracted away. Okay, and that's the samatha aspect. Then the vipassana aspect, I penetrate deep into the object in order to reveal the true nature of the object. Okay? So this is the two aspects, sati sampajanya, and vipassana. Okay, so there must be these two aspects of the practice, samatha and vipassana. But of course, of these two, the more important one is sampajanya, clear comprehension. Because without clear comprehension is the vipassana itself. It's the insight that penetrates into the nature of the nama rupa. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. So this is the meaning of sampajanya, clear comprehension. Okay. Now, having described the nature of clear comprehension, now some yogis say, Bhante, it's very difficult. It's too difficult. How can we not so precisely to the extent that we are able to distinguish each individual mental and physical nature that is present in our experience. So even this alone already sounds so difficult. To resolve your experience, seeing, hearing, smelling, and so on. Resolve it into this various mental, physical nature. Okay? This alone already sounds so difficult. What more to discern each and every of this mental, physical nature arising and disappearing, the nature of impermanent suffering and non-self. So when they see this, when they hear this, they say, impossible. It cannot be done. Right? So when you have such thought, you already defeat yourself. Okay? So when you think like this, it cannot be done, you already put a barrier in your mind. So who is it that block you? You yourself block yourself because of your lack of confidence. So when you practice the Dhamma, when you practice especially vipassana meditation, you must practice with confidence. Confidence in yourself, in your ability. Confidence in the Dhamma. Confidence in yourself that you are able to carry out this practice to the completion. Okay? Yeah, the fact that in this life you have the opportunity to come across the Dhamma, the Buddha's teaching, and not just any ordinary Dhamma, vipassana Dhamma. So that shows that in your past life you have somehow have some connection with this practice. Okay, you must have done it before in your past life. So that this life, your mind, maybe unconsciously or consciously, you search for this practice, and somehow you found it. It's not by chance that you come across this practice of Satipatthana Vipassana Dhamma in this life. Okay? So, there are so many people in the world. How many people actually have a chance to learn this in this life? So, you have some certain karma that you have done in your past life. You have some connection with this practice. Not just come across this practice, but have the interest to actually come and practice. There are many people who have come across this practice also, but no interest. Some people, when I speak to them, about ordinary Dhamma, everyday Dhamma, how to live your life, Sila, how to live your life properly as a good human being, or they're very interested. They listen with rapt attention. Usually, that's how I start the Dhamma talk. But the moment I started with this, and then I slowly shift to Vipassana. The moment I shift to Vipassana, that's it, I lose them already. Everything I say fly past their head. They don't hear anything. Some of them even, they Cassie, get up, slowly get up, walk away when nobody is looking. Some people like this don't even want to listen. You see, but you all not only want to listen, but also want to practice. So that means you have this affinity with this practice. That means somehow you have the ability to do this practice. Okay? So you must have confidence in yourself. Okay? So, and also in the Dhamma, in the ability of this practice of the Dhamma to bring about the result that is mentioned by the Buddha. After all, the Buddha, the Dhamma is swakato, right? Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo, right? It is well expounded by the Buddha. Okay, well expounded means it is precisely and clearly laid out in such a way that if you follow it carefully, diligently, it will bring about the result that it is intended to bring about. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. So you must practice with a lot of confidence, both in yourself and in the Dhamma. Okay? Then only will you be able to reach great heights in your practice. You say, cannot lah, year after year, so cannot lah. Then you always remember at that level, always remain at that level, cannot lah. You say, I can. Then with that confidence, you put in effort. Faith, confidence leads to effort. Okay? Only if you have confidence, then you put in effort. You cannot lah, you hold yourself back. You don't put in as much effort as you are supposed to put into the practice. So you hold yourself back. So, yeah. And so all this knowledges is of clear comprehension. When we describe it, it may sound impossible at first. Okay, so if you have not experienced it before, it sounds impossible, right? Yeah. In the I think Milinda Panha, if I'm not mistaken, it's mentioned that the Buddha did something that is very difficult to do. That is, he is able to tell apart all these various mental states that is present in your experience. Okay, so I say it is. They gave a simile there. It is like, the water from various rivers. So they all flow into the ocean. Okay, so the Buddha's ability to tell apart all these various mental states, this knowledge of clear comprehension, is able to tell apart all these various mental states with various nature, Dhamma that is present. Is comparable to a person taking a drop of water from the ocean, tasting it, and then able to tell this drop of water is from which river. So, yeah. So when you hear this, you say, "Oh, impossible," right? Yeah. So, yeah. But those who have practice enough and have experience all these various stages of insight into the nature of nama rupa. You've experienced it before, even once, you know that it is not impossible. Okay, you realize when you experience it by yourself, you realize it is not impossible. Okay, you realize that actually all you need to do is to put in the necessary effort to follow the basic instruction and to practice persistently, ardently. So eventually, as you persistently practice again and again, moment after moment after moment of noting, building up the practice, developing the noting mind. Eventually, when all the necessary conditions develop, it means when the noting mind is well balanced, when there's just the right degree of effort, balance, just the right degree of concentration, when there's just the right degree of faith, balanced by a right degree of clarity, penetrative clarity. So when all these are well balanced, all the conditions come together, everything will fall in place. Then when everything fall in place, you cannot help but discern the nature of this mental physical phenomena as they are present in your experience. Okay? So they are all there all the time. All this sabhava lakkhana, sankata lakkhana, samanya lakkhana, this nature, they are present there. They are already there. They are already present in your experience. Okay? So the mind just need to be clear enough in order to discern them. They are there already. Okay? So if you practice correctly, then your mind cannot help but notice, discern all these various nature. Okay? So how do you discern them? How do you develop this clear comprehension? Using the tool of satipatthana. So that means anupassana. So through continuous, precise noting, moment after moment after moment after moment, driven by ardent, energetic effort. So gradually, you develop this clear comprehension. Okay? So, yeah, it's not difficult actually. Yeah, people think it's very difficult. Actually, especially the first insight, first insight, second insight, third insight. Actually, it's not that difficult. So, nama rupa parichidanyana, not difficult. All you need to do is you need effort, persistent effort. So you have to strive. Okay? Apply yourself to the practice. Apply the basic instruction to note precisely, note continuously, note clearly. Okay? So gradually everything will fall into place. So then you start to discern clearly. Okay? Yeah. But of course, start simple. Don't be too ambitious. So immediately you get instruction, sit down, or you want to see everything clearly. You want to see Maggaphala Nibbana already. Not possible. You want just to discern anicca, dukkha, anatta. So you need to work very hard. Okay, so you start simple. Okay, how do you start simple? Simply by noting. So when rising occur, you're not rising. You make effort to feel clearly the rising movement from beginning to the end. Okay, so you can follow it continuously, note it clearly from beginning to the end. So right there you have clear comprehension of the rising. Simple, right? But this is just the beginning. So same thing, when rising, when falling occur, then you just make effort to note the falling. Note it, put your mind there, feel the falling movement continuously, from beginning to the end. Make effort to feel it as clearly as you can. Then right there you have clear comprehension of falling movement. Okay, so in this way you note continuously each rising, each falling, each rising, each falling, again and again, one after another. You make effort to note clearly, to follow, to feel clearly, from beginning to the end. Okay, so so you note one object at a time. Okay, don't be too ambitious. Just note one object. One rising, then after that one falling, then one rising, one falling. Okay, with each object you make effort to feel it as clearly as you can. So you build up a clear comprehension, one object at a time, one noting at a time. Okay, so yeah, so one noting only, not one object. Okay, so so you start simple in this way. Okay, so not just rising, falling. So you're not rising, you're not falling, you know clearly rising, you know clearly falling. Secondary object arise also. Let's say itchiness arise, then prominence, so you turn your attention there. So you place your attention on the sensation of itchiness. You make effort to feel it clearly. Then you have clear comprehension of itchiness. So you know itchy, 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 itchy. Every moment you know itchy, there's clear comprehension. So you know it until it disappear. You can see it disappear, then there's clear comprehension of the disappearance. And then you direct it back to the rising, falling. So you go on like this again and again and again. So one object at a time. So so you build up the clear comprehension, one moment after another, with each object that is noted. Okay. So with such continuous, persistent, relentless, mindful noting, one after another. So the clarity of the noting will gradually build up. Okay, so as it builds up, so the nature of the object that is noted, the nature of the mental physical phenomena present in every object also become clearer and clearer and clearer. Okay? Then gradually you will experience in turn first the sabhava lakkhana, specific characteristic of various mental physical phenomena. Then from there you begin to discern the nature of arising and disappearing, sankhata lakkhana. And then from there, gradually, you arrive at the nature of impermanent suffering non-self, samanya lakkhana. Okay? It's gradual. Okay, so through persistent, continuous practice, the mind becomes clearer and clearer. Okay, so so this is like one of the simile I talked about previously, like polishing a mirror. Right? So in a mirror full of stain, full of dust, you want to see your image on the mirror. It's not clear. So you must polish the mirror, right? So you take a piece of cloth, you wipe it. So you wipe it one time, it's not enough. You wipe it one time, you remove a little bit stain, a little bit dust. And you look at it, still not clear. So what do? You repeatedly polish it. Again and again you polish, polish, polish. Every time you polish, you remove more and more stain, more and more dust, until finally all the stain, all the dust removed. And then you look at your image. It's reflected clearly on the mirror. So the mind is also the same. Right? Initially, it's full of defilements. It's like the dust, the stain. Okay? So you need to purify it through the method of satipatthana. So again and again, anupasana, you put your mind there, you note, 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 note. Okay? So every time you note, you purify the mind. Okay? So the mind becomes more and more purified, and it becomes clearer and clearer. So and it becomes clear enough. So when all the mental defilements have been completely purified, suppressed through development of Kanika Samadhi, then the object will appear clearly. As you carry on practicing, it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer until it becomes luminous. So, okay, now, so in the commentary, they classify this sampajanya, clear comprehension, into four kinds of clear comprehension. Yeah? So, Sataka sampajanya, Sappaya sampajanya, Gochara sampajanya, Asamoha sampajanya. Okay? So let's look at this four. So the first one, Sataka sampajanya. So this means clear comprehension of what is beneficial. Okay, so this means the clarity of mind that considers clearly whether something is beneficial or not. Okay, so this means that before you do anything, before you say anything, or before you make use of something, so you consider with a clear mind, with clarity of mind, whether it is beneficial or not. What you are going to do, what you are going to say, what you are going to use, is it beneficial or not? So you consider with clarity of mind, with a clear mind. So clear mind here means mind without defilements, without likes and dislikes. So you consider objectively, okay, without any likes or dislike. Okay, whether it is beneficial. Beneficial here means, in the case of the yogi, means is it beneficial for the practice or not? Practice of vipassana meditation. Right? Is it beneficial for it or not? Does it serve the purpose of the practice or not? Okay, so serving the purpose of practice means, does it help in the development of mindfulness, in the development of concentration, in the development of clear insight? So does it help or not? Is it beneficial towards this end or not? Okay, so you consider clearly, objectively, based on the practice, without any likes and dislikes. Sometimes you consider things you like and dislike, then you become biased. So you must consider without any defilements, any likes and dislikes, based solely on whether it is helpful to the practice or not. Okay? And then, so once you consider, then you only do what you want to do, or say what you want to say, or use what you want to use, if you find that it is beneficial. It serves the purpose of the practice. Okay? Yeah. So, take for example, so you consider, so should I go for a retreat or should I go for a holiday? So I have some leave. So I have to clear my leave. Every year you have to clear your leave, right? Or maybe if you're a teacher, school teacher, school holiday, so you're free. And then you consider, should I go for a holiday or should I go for a retreat? Which will you choose? So you consider which one more beneficial for the practice. So your choice is very clear. So if you are a real yogi, you choose to go for a retreat instead of a holiday. Holiday does not help you to develop your practice. So it's not beneficial. So you say, I won't go for a holiday. So I must go for a retreat. Then you're a good yogi. So then you consider, is making effort beneficial to the practice? You have practiced before, you know very clearly it is beneficial for the practice. You don't make effort. Some yogis, just sit there, want to enjoy the peace, the calm, very nice. So don't make effort to explore into the nature of the mental physical phenomena. This is not beneficial for the practice. So making effort in the practice, to note continuously, to note clearly, to allow the mind to explore into the nature of the mental physical phenomena. This is beneficial for the practice. Okay? So you consider in this way, whether it's beneficial or not. So slowing down in a retreat, slowing down, is it beneficial for the practice? Yes, it's very beneficial. You don't slow down, and then you don't allow the mind to sink in deep into the activity that you are doing, to explore, to see clearly the mental, physical process that is involved in every physical activity. So if you stretch your arm, you just stretch like that. You cannot observe anything, right? So you cannot observe. Can you observe all the mental, physical activity taking place moment by moment? So So slowing down is beneficial. When you slow down, you put your attention there, and then you can observe moment by moment the intention, the movement, the intention, the movement, the intention, the movement, moment by moment, as you stretch slowly. Then you have clear comprehension of this mental physical process that takes place. Otherwise, you just stretch like that, nothing. There's no clear comprehension, right? So slow down. So this is beneficial for the practice. So then thinking, is it beneficial for the practice? So of course not beneficial. So yeah, as much as a lot of people would like to think, sometimes because vipassana, we say you must develop clear understanding of the nature of nama rupa. So most people who have never practiced vipassana and don't have any experience, deep experience or insight before, The only way they know how to understand things is by thinking, right? But yet, in Vipassana meditation, you must refrain from that, from thinking about what you are experiencing. Because when you think about it, you are interfering with the process of observation, with the process of knowing. Okay? As we said, wisdom, insight is simply knowing, okay? Knowing, but knowing clearly. Okay? So, but if you start to think about it, then you interrupt the process of knowing. Okay? So to develop wisdom, you must allow the mind to observe very deeply, observe continuously, so that the knowing of the object continue moment by moment by moment. As it knows continuously, it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. When it becomes clearer and clearer and clearer, then the understanding arise intuitively. Okay, but when you start to think, start to analyze, you interrupt with this process. So you disturb the unfolding of the clarity of the mind. Okay, so thinking is not beneficial for the practice of vipassana meditation. So, what about talking? So, talking generally is not helpful, especially you talk about worldly things. You tend to get distracted. Gossip, all the worldly matters. You'll be surprised. Even in a meditation retreat, some yogis still indulge in this gossips and gossip about other yogis. So, about worldly matters also. The food today, not very nice. Yesterday better. So, you see, worldly matters. So, this of course is not helpful. So, but there are times when talking is necessary during a retreat. When is that? Yes, during interview. Of course, when you come for interview, you must talk. What's the point of coming in the interview and you don't talk? Noble silence. Sit there. Meditate. Then you might as well stay in the hall. No need to come for interview. So when you come for interview, you must discuss the Dhamma with the meditation teacher. So you must report clearly your practice. So when you report, there must be mindfulness and clear comprehension. Mindfulness to hold the mind steady. Then clear comprehension, so that you can recollect your experience clearly. Then with this mindfulness and this clear comprehension, then you can report your experience clearly, systematically. So that what you report reflects clearly what you experience during your practice. So when you can report clearly in this way, then the teacher have a clear idea about the state of your practice right now. So you don't report clearly, you jump here and jump there, no mindfulness, no clear comprehension. So mix here and mix there, Sometimes yogi even bring in their practice from 10 years ago and report. It doesn't reflect the state of your practice right now. So sometimes they don't tell you, that it's from 10 years ago. They just report. So until you probe them, then only they tell you, oh, actually this is from 10 years ago. So during the interview, you must speak with mindfulness and clear comprehension. Then only the interview process is beneficial. Because if you don't report your practice clearly, the teacher cannot understand your practice clearly. Then he cannot give you instruction properly. So, but if you can report clearly, the teacher understand the state of your practice clearly, then he or she can give you the instruction that is suited to the state of your practice at that moment. Okay. So you must talk during the interview. And of course, if you have any doubts, any questions, you need to raise to clear your doubt. And so, provided there's time during the interview. But now we have a lot of time during the interview because so few of you are here. But sometimes, last time when there are so many yogis, and 10 minutes, so no time to ask question usually. So that's why sometimes at the end of the Dhamma talk, we give time for the yogi to ask question. Okay. Yeah. So during the interview, it's beneficial to talk because that's the time when you are discussing the Dhamma with your teacher. Okay, and this is beneficial. Okay, so but such discussion should be confined only to the interview. Okay, don't discuss the Dhamma outside of the interview with other yogis. So sometimes yogis they reach a certain stage of the practice. They want so much to share the Dhamma with other people. So then they see their fellow yogis there, catch to the side. And then sometimes force them sit down. And then they talk. They share the Dhamma. They think this is beneficial. But usually I find that the other yogis end up more confused. So, because each yogi that experiences different, they are at different stages of their practice. So you share with them something that's not relevant to their practice at that moment. They can become confused. So, how come you got this experience I don't have? So that's why we discourage yogi from discussing Dhamma among yourself. So for yogis, especially when you are in a retreat, okay, so everything that you do, everything that you want to say, and whatever you want to use, before you do it or you say it or you use it, you must consider. So whether it is beneficial, consider with a clear mind. Whether it is beneficial. When you're meditating continuously, usually your mind is very clear. So you consider with that clear mind whether it is beneficial for the practice or not. Does it serve the purpose of the practice or not? And you do it only if it is beneficial. Otherwise, you refrain from it. Okay? Yeah, if it is not beneficial, it is considered a distraction from the practice. Okay? So we must consider first. So, but however, in a retreat, so this can also be a kind of distraction by itself. Because even though you are considering things with a clear mind, with clear comprehension, but still it is a kind of thinking. Such consideration is a kind of thinking. So you do it too much, then it becomes a distraction from the practice itself. Okay, so you should try to minimize it also. So don't over consider things. Okay, yeah. So that's why it's easier if you just follow the basic instruction, the practice, follow the rules and regulations set up in the center. Okay? So you follow this, you follow the routine of meditation in the meditation center. So you just follow this. All these are set up in such a way that they are beneficial to the practice of the yogi. So you just conform with them. Then you don't have to consider so much. Then you can just focus on your practice. Okay? So things become simpler. Okay. Okay. Second one is sappaya sampajanya. This clear comprehension of suitability, considering clearly in your mind whether it's suitable or not. So this follows after the first one, sattaka sampajanya. So after you have considered whether something is beneficial or not. So if you decide that it is beneficial, then you should not immediately do it. You must consider further whether it is beneficial, yes, but is it suitable or not at that moment? At that present moment, is it suitable or not? Okay. So, for example, going for a retreat, yes, it's very suitable, it's beneficial for the practice. So, but if let's say at that time in the retreat center there is some kind of celebration going on, Vesak Day or Katina, so many people around, so much activity going on, a lot of noise, a lot of fanfare going on, then at that time it is not suitable. Or if that time there are some other activities, some center that the Samanera program, all the children running around, making a lot of noise. So how to meditate like this? So that's why meditation center should not have Samanera program. So there are many other centers who already have Samanera program. Let them do it. Why should meditation center have Samanera program? So should create an environment suitable for yogis. So with as little distraction as possible. Yeah. So, but if there are such activities at the center at that time, then it's not suitable. Then you should consider going to another center. So, yeah. So another one, let's say, making effort is very beneficial to the practice. You must make effort. However, if let's say your mind is already very restless or very tense, then at that time it is no longer suitable to add more effort into the practice, into the noting mind. You must reduce the effort in order to balance it. Okay, so slowing down may be beneficial, but let's say you're in a lunch queue, so many yogis behind you, and then you go there stretching. 5 minutes to stretch. To take the food. That is not suitable. You must speed up a bit. Speed up, but still maintain your mindfulness and clear comprehension. Otherwise, all the yogis behind waiting, and then they have to note anger. So, so you have to consider suitability. Suitability of object also. Sometimes nowadays many yogis like to do Chittanupassana. I keep getting this request again and again to explain Chittanupassana. So, but when the mind is not sufficiently developed yet, there's no sufficient mindfulness and concentration, the noting mind still not continuous enough. The mindful noting is not continuous enough, not clear enough such that it can note clearly and continuously, moment by moment by moment by moment. Then at that time it's not suitable yet to do Chittanupassana. So you must develop the strength of the noting mind first. Once it's sufficiently developed, then only you can do Chittanupassana. So suitability must be considered. So, so these first two kinds of clear comprehension, Sataka and Sappaya Sampajanya, considering what is beneficial, what is suitable. Okay, so actually they are kind of thinking. So you're thinking with a clear mind, considering whether it's beneficial, whether it's suitable. So such consideration are needed, especially during a retreat, in order to keep away from what is unbeneficial, keep away from unbeneficial distraction from the practice, and also to keep the practice going on smoothly by avoiding what is unsuitable. Okay, but they are still thinking, even though you're thinking, considering with a clear mind, they are still nevertheless just thinking. So you should keep them to a bare minimum. Okay, so the best, as you say, just follow the rules, regulation, the basic instruction, follow them, and also get into a routine during your retreat. Once you get into a routine, every day you just follow the same routine, then you don't have to think and consider so much. Okay, so then things become simpler. Then you can just focus on the practice. Okay. Third one is, let's finish all the four. Third one is Gochara Sampajanya. Clear comprehension of domain. Domain here means the domain of the yogi. Okay. Actually, Gochara means the pasture. Is literally it means like go actually means the cow. Lambu, cow. Gochara means where the cow goes to graze. So the pasturing ground. Is it right? The pasture. So it's where the cow go to eat. That means the grass field. That's Gochara. Okay. So it's the domain of the cow. But here it means the domain of the yogi, where the yogi go and feed. So where does the yogi go and feed when you practice? The mind feeds out of the four objects, the four satipatthana objects. The body, feeling, consciousness, and the Dhamma. So these four, these are the domain of the yogi. So Gochara Sampajanya means applying clear comprehension within these four objects. So you always keep your mind noting with mindfulness and clear comprehension these four objects. Okay, so you don't allow the mind to stray outside of these four objects. Okay, because outside of these four objects is not the domain of the yogi. It's the domain of Mara. So if you fall outside of these four objects, that means you stop noting. There's a break in your noting, break in the continuity of the noting. Then when you're not noting, then you fall into the domain of Mara. So when you stop noting, you fall under the influence of avijja. You don't note clearly with mindfulness and clear comprehension. Then the mind comes under the influence of avijja, ignorance. So when And it's under the influence of ignorance, experience, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, knowing, thinking. Everything is very nice. Everything is very beautiful. You experience them as permanent, as pleasurable, as a self. So it's wonderful experience. Seeing is good. Seeing is wonderful. I like seeing. I like hearing. So that craving arise. So when avijja, there's tanha. So when the craving becomes strong, and then there's upadana, clinging, okay? Grabs strongly to the object, grabs at it, cling to it with strong craving. And sometimes you cling to it with wrong view of a self. Okay? So this is the domain of Mara. So yogi must keep the mind, the noting mind, continuously within the domain of these four objects. So this means continuity of mindfulness, noting continuously these four objects, one after another, moment after moment after moment. So with a clear mind, applying clear comprehension, you remain within these four objects. So basically, actually, this is applying mindfulness and clear comprehension continuously. It's anupassana. Okay. And then the last one is asammoha sampajanya, clear comprehension of non-delusion. Okay, so non-delusion basically means insight. Insight itself is non-delusion. So it's this insight that discerns clearly the nature of the nama rupa. Okay? Yeah. And this clear comprehension, non-delusion, this insight. This is what the yogis striving to develop in the practice. Okay. So the previous three sampajanya, the sataka, sapaya, gochara, they are like a support that builds up to this final asammoha sampajanya. Okay, there's clear comprehension of non-delusion. Okay? It is this clear comprehension of non-delusion, insight into the nature of impermanent suffering, non-self. That the Buddha meant when he says atapi sampajano satima. So sampajano, the mind, the noting mind must be possessed of this clear comprehension. So it is this clear comprehension of non-delusion that must accompany every moment when you note the object. There must be this clear discernment of the nature of the mental physical phenomena, seeing clearly into the nature of impermanent suffering and non-self. It is this insight that leads to liberation. Okay. Okay, so these four kinds of clear comprehension. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so so the first two kinds help to keep away from what is unbeneficial, what is unsuitable. So the third one, the domain, helps to keep the mind continuously noting the object, the nama rupa, the four satipatthana object. Okay, and the last one is the final result. Okay, clear comprehension of non-delusion. Okay, so the first three helps to bring up the third, the fourth sampajanya. Okay. Okay, we stop here today. This question, Bhante, a more prominent itchiness appear while I am noting an existing itchiness. Sometimes it is so prominent that my mind will automatically switch to note the new itchiness. Shall I pull it back to the first one till it disappears? Only then I go to note the more prominent one. So sometimes you cannot help it because it's so prominent, it immediately pulls your attention there. So then you have to note the more prominent one. Okay. But sometimes it's just slightly more prominent. And then if your noting mind is strong enough, you can still hold on to the existing one. Then you stay with the existing one. Okay, so it doesn't pull it immediately away. So then you stay with the existing one. Okay. Bante, could you please elaborate on nama rupa? Nama is mind, mentality, feeling, perception, volition, action, and consciousness. And rupa is a mere form of materiality. So, it's just, put it very simply, it's just mental, physical nature. Right? Physical nature, very simple. Hardness, softness, heat, cold, roughness, smoothness, tension, stiffness, tightness, pressure. All this physical nature. That's rupa. Right? So, so what the nature that the mind experience directly. So, so for example, when you stretch your arm forward, then you can feel as you put your attention there. You can feel there's that tightness, the tension, the pushing, so the heaviness. There's all this nature, physical nature. Okay? But not the arm. The arm is an idea. So although we usually, sometimes we say rupa, nama rupa, we say mind and body. Actually rupa means not the, not body, okay? Not the arm, not the legs, not the, it's just nature, physical nature. So when you stretch like this, all you feel is all this physical nature, tightness, tension, heaviness, and so on. Okay? The idea of that there is an arm there is something that the mind overlay on this experience. Okay? So when you experience it directly, there's no arm. There's just all this different nature. Right? So, but if you're not observing carefully according to the method of vipassana, usually the mind takes all this different nature, put them together, and then identify this whole thing. This is my arm. This is just an idea that the mind put together and overlay on the bare experience. Okay, so nature means this bare experience, this physical nature. Okay. So nama is similarly mental nature, right? So nature of knowing, nature of perceiving, recognizing, feeling, and so on. Okay. So this various mental nature also. If your mind is clear enough, you can experience them when you note and experience. Okay? So this is nama rupa. So could you please elaborate on how to note volition action? What do you mean volition action? Do you mean the intention behind the action? Yeah, if it is intention behind action, so mind must be very clear. So before any physical action, there's always an intention. Because the intention there's the movement. Okay? So it usually occurs this very subtle urge in the mind. It's like an undercurrent, a very subtle undercurrent that move the mind, sort of push it in a certain way. It appears like an urge to do something. So, for example, when you come, as you walk towards the door, the moment you come close enough to the door, if you are observing continuously, moment by moment, mindfulness is going on, noting, you find that when you come close enough to the door, automatically there's this subtle urge arise in the mind for you to reach for the doorknob, right? If you don't observe this carefully enough, you'll miss it. Then you wonder, how come my hand automatically reach up? That's why you must do things slowly. You slow down, and then you observe moment by moment by moment. Then your mind is very clear, sensitive, alert. The moment this intention arises, immediately you can pick it up. So you can then you note that as intention. So that's how you note the intention. Noting intention is not you sit there, wait for intention to come out. Intention don't come out, then you just simply say intention, and then you do it. That is not noting intention, because you don't really see clearly the intention, right? So you must see clearly that the intention is there, then you note. Vipassana, when we note, that means we note the object that is there. Rising occur, then we note rising. Falling occur, then we note the falling. Not that we deliberately cause the rising to occur, and then rising. So rising occur, we note rising. So the mind just sit back, and then whatever appear, then it note rising occur, it note rising. Falling occur, it note falling. Thinking occur, it note thinking. Thinking disappear, it knows thinking disappear. Then you direct it back. Sensation occur, pain occur, then you know pain. So intention occur, then you know intention. So note what is there, not what is not there. Bante, I missed one of the 4 objects in the Gochara domain. Please advise. So it's the 4 Satipatthana objects. So body, kaya, vedana, feeling, consciousness, citta. The last one is Dhamma. Dhamma means just generally, mental physical phenomena. Okay? Nama rupa Dhamma, mental physical nature. That's a good question. How do you discern motive from intention and intention from impulse? Yeah, so intention is actually, you can say, is impulse. It's an impulsion to do this, to do that. Okay. Whereas when you say motive have a very something like a very clear motivation behind it. So whether it's a wholesome motivation or unwholesome motivation, so there's motive. So if unwholesome motivation, it comes with the defilements. So wholesome motivation, so it comes with a beautiful state of mind. So detachment, or kindness, compassion, and so on. So when we say intention, it's a very simple impulsion to do this, to do that. Like when you want to open the door, so you don't say that I have the motive to open the door, right? Yeah, the motive to rob the bank, yes, but open the door is something so simple. It's just an impulsion. Okay, so it's something very simple. Just some very subtle urge in the mind to do this, to do that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. During meditation setting, it's easy to note volition, but in daily life, how to note clearly? Yeah, meditation retreat, of course, very easy because you slow down. When you slow down and you're noting moment after moment after moment, the intention can appear very clearly. That's why you can even see the series of intention as you stretch the arm. Intention, intention, intention. There's intention and movement, intention, movement, intention, movement. Okay, but outside retreat is very difficult. You cannot slow down like this. People will say there's a zombie walking. Some people will say what? Chao for yak mo. So, yeah. But if your habit of mindfulness is very strong, sometimes you can. So if you have trained your mind to see clearly, especially those yogis who have done many, many retreats. So the habit of mindfulness is so strong. Yes, sometimes even in daily life, you can observe intention, not as much as during a retreat, but still you can generally still observe intention before you open the door, before you sit down, before you do any action. Often you can feel this urge because you train your mind to be so sensitive to all these different mental states that arise. And so when intention pops up, immediately you're aware of it. Okay? Mm. Okay, that's all the question in the chat room. Okay, so if there's no other question,
Bante, can I ask the questions?
yes.
Okay, let's say we do exercise. So there are a lot of movement, including arms and legs. So, and then we do it concurrently. It seems like we are doing it concurrently. Like I don't feel. Sometimes it's like, uh, if I focus on the arms, then I cannot seem to focus on the legs. So, what's your advice on this?
You mean in a retreat or outside a retreat? Outside a
Outside
retreat.
retreat.
Yeah, outside a retreat, you don't. You just exercise, and just because when you exercise, I think most kind of exercise you have to do like several movements at the same time, right? Like if let's say you do Tai Chi, so there's several movements at a time. So you just be aware as much as you can. Okay, so or if there's two movement, then you just focus on one movement.
Okay.
So usually in outside of a retreat, when your movement is so fast and you want to be aware, it's not possible to be aware of one movement at a time because you're doing so many movements. So one way you can do is that, but this one you have to learn how to be aware from the mind door. So this means you keep your awareness at the mind door. How to keep awareness at the mind door? You simply be aware of what the mind is knowing. You can ask
Ah,
this question: what does the mind know now?
mm,
Automatically, when you ask this question, your attention goes to the mind. That is
mm.
called being aware at the mind door. So if you keep your attention at the mind door, everything goes through the mind door, right?
So you
Everything
mean
you
we observe the
experience,
mind? Bante, we observe the mind. What's the
mm,
mind's thinking?
what the mind knows,
Oh,
what the
okay. So
mind knows.
observe the mind. See how the mind is still
Yes.
focused on the hands or focused on the legs.
Yeah, so basically you keep your attention on the mind. Then whatever objects goes through the mind, you're also aware, right? Because everything that you experience goes through the mind, from all the senses. Okay, we see something through the eye, it goes through the eye door, but immediately it reflects in the mind door. You hear a sound through the ear door, immediately that reflects at the mind door. So everything finally reflects at the mind door. So you just hold your attention at the mind door, and then you know everything. You move your arm, you know the movement. You move your leg, the mind also know the movement. So, so you just keep your attention there, and then you'll be able to catch all the different movement. But it's very fast, so you cannot note one by one by one. You have to like just
Mm,
generally hold your attention there, and then just
mm,
observe as much as you can.
mm, mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's in your
Bante.
outside of retreat lah. But
Mm,
inside a retreat, we don't
mm.
encourage you to
Yeah.
exercise
Mm,
and do all these different activities. Just
mm,
focus on your practice.
mm. Uh,
Okay.
Bante. So
Mm.
when I do the sitting, I realized today, let's say, first I sat down. So I say I want to focus on the abdomen. So then
Mm.
I focus on the abdomen. I see rising and falling. After that, it become my chest is more prominent, the rising and falling.
Mm.
Then I say okay. Then I focus on the chest. After that, I realized that my breath is more prominent. So it seems like, so should I say like, I must throughout the sitting, if I decided to focus on the abdomen, so throughout the sitting I must focus on the abdomen, whether I can feel the abdomen or I cannot feel, I still need to strive just to focus on that.
Yeah. If is how to say, try to hold your attention on one place. Okay. Mm. But if the rising falling becomes not clear there, but it appear somewhere else or in the chest, then you shift your attention there. Okay. So as long as you can hold your attention in that place for uh, a considerable duration of time. Okay, not
Considerable, but
not 1 minute here, 1 minute there, jump here and there, But if you
mm-hmm.
can, if it's like on the abdomen, then maybe it's there like 10 minutes, like that, or 20 minutes. Then after that, after a while, maybe because changes in your manner of breathing, then it appear more clearly on the chest. Then you shift it there, and then it's there for a long period of time. You can hold it continuously there for a period of time. Then it's okay.
Mm, mm,
Okay,
okay.
but
Yep.
not 1 minute here, 1 minute there. Uh, so
Mm,
that become very like destructive.
mm, mm, mm.
Mm.
Yep. So, Bante, do we need to discern the thinking and imagination? Then suddenly I know thinking. Then I realized that, oh, this is not thinking, this is imagine. So should I change the note to the imagine? Well,
Huh? Uh, Actually, you can continue just using the thinking. So as long as you know that you are noting it, okay? Actually, of course, the label ideally should reflect the object. Okay, but what is more important is that you are noting. That means the mind is with the object, experiencing it clearly.
So
Okay.
so Bante, then it then meanings that I actually don't need to use the word at all. If I know that I'm thinking, then I say,
In the beginning, it's better to use because
mm,
it helps you. It helps to keep the mind on the object.
mm,
Okay. So
mm,
what I'm saying is that you don't have to change the label. If you realize that it is uh, imagining instead of thinking, then first you should not imagining. I mean, sorry, realizing. Okay.
imagine means realize.
No, because
Oh, the
if you
first
realize,
no. Oh, I
at
realize
first
that
you
this
know
is
that is
oh, okay.
thinking, right? Then you
Yep.
realize, then you should note that also because that is a state of mind, realizing. So you note it, realizing.
Ah,
Okay, and then after that, then you can, if you want, you can note it as imagining.
mm,
Okay, if
mm,
it is still there.
mm,
So yeah, then you can note it as imagining. Uh, So the most important thing is that your mind is noting, means with the object, experiencing it clearly.
mm.
Okay, whatever it is that arises. Okay.
Bante, is it more beneficial if every time we think so much, the mind, if we keep on noting the mind has a lot of thinkings to do. Is it beneficial if we have occasion, we say, focus on the like abdomen again. Try not to think, try not to imagine, but focus back on the object like abdomen.
When thinking occur, so must, as we described last time, put all effort into noting the thinking. Uh, put the effort into the noting, not into the thinking. Uh, they put the effort into the noting of the thinking. Then all your energy goes to the noting, not to the thinking. Then the thinking will stop by itself.
Mm. But Bante,
Okay,
I have
so
this experience that whereby if I force the mind back to the object, this is not sitting, but this is on daily life. I force the mind instead of noting, say thinking. I just divert it back to the abdomen or to the breathe in and breathe out. It's just the thinking just go away.
yeah, but uh, it may go away, but you force it like this, so it may still be in the background of the mind. Right? So it's better to try to note until it disappears. Uh, but in the beginning, often when the beginner note thinking, it doesn't stop. That's because the noting mind is not sufficiently developed yet. Okay,
Mm,
so the thinking is more overwhelming. So you note for a few times, note thinking. Really put effort into the noting. Okay? If after noting for a while, let's say 7, 8 times you note, it doesn't stop. Then
mm,
you gently, don't force.
mm,
Gently you step away. Let the mind step away from the thinking. Detach the mind from the thoughts. Gently, and do this clearly. You must do this with mindfulness and clear comprehension. Gently and clearly, with full mindfulness, redirect it back to the rising, falling. Okay, do it gently. Don't force it. Don't immediately pull your attention strongly away from the object and then push it back to the rising, falling. You have to gently redirect it back,
mm,
gently but firmly.
mm,
You do it forcefully, you disturb the mind.
mm,
Disturb the composure of the mind.
mm.
Okay. Mm.
Yep.
Okay.
Uh, uh,
Anything? Yeah.
Yeah, but so let's say, right, in a situation, let's say we walk there to, to a hall or whatsoever, there are so many distraction on the people, people talking, all the noise, everything like that. So are we, supposed to note the mind door, or we just back to our
In a
meditation?
retreat,
I
you're
mean,
supposed to
outside.
keep your eyes down and don't look.
I mean,
Outside, of course, yeah, you can use the method of the watching from the mind door.
mm,
Just hold your attention at the mind door. Whatever arises there, just be aware, including your mental reaction to it. It arises in the mind, so you put your attention there. You can be aware. Huh? Mm.
mm,
All right. Yeah.
mm. Yep.
Mm.
One more question, Bante. So if we are not sitting, there's itchiness. So impromptu, we will scratch, the place where it's itchy. So
Mm.
uh, this is norm, right? I suppose. And
No.
then are we supposed to
No.
train it to say we
Yes.
still
You're
have to
supposed to
be like that?
train, and then first itchiness arise. You must not itchy, itchy, itchy. Intention arise. You want to scratch. You must note the intention, but don't act on it. Just note. If you really note the intention will disappear. If the
Mm,
intention disappear, then you no longer want to scratch. And then you
mm,
continue noting itchy, itchy, itchy.
mm,
Uh, so if agitation arise, not agitation, not the state of agitation. Not until the agitation disappear. The mind, when the agitation disappear, you see the mind calms down. You can see the change in the state of mind. It
mm,
just calms down, become peaceful again. And then you
mm,
go back, redirect again to not the
mm,
itchy.
mm,
You note in
okay.
this way until it disappears.
Mm.
Okay,
Thank you,
so it's
Bante.
very late already.
Oh, yeah.
So we should conclude now. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Buddham Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Dhammam Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Sangham Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Mata Pitunam Pujemi. Imaya Dhammanu Dhamma Patipatiya Acariyanam Pujemi. Adha Imaya Patipadaya Jaram Ranamha Primocesami. Idam me punyam asavakaya waham hotu. Idam me punyam nibbanasa bajayo hotu. Idam me silam magaphalanyanasa bajayo hotu. Imam no bunya bhagam sabba sattanam dema. Imam no bunya bhagam sabba sattanam dema. Imam no bunya bhagam sabba sattanam dema. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So may all of you be well, happy, and peaceful always. May all of you be safe, be healthy May your practice of the Dhamma be smooth without any obstacle, and may you all be able to experience the unconditional peace through your practice of the Dhamma.